Okay, I think I have that fixed. Beam always has trouble on startup handling the connection, but it was extra bad tonight, so I'm sorry about that. Hoping that that's fixed now, and we are good to get going. Hope you've all had a good weekend. Hope everything has gone well for you all. It's been quite busy for me. And got a relatively early day tomorrow. So we'll have to see how we do when it comes to standing by for the whole night. But I'm hoping it'll be fine. We are doing more Hollow Knight, and I do have a couple more reactions for us to do. So, let us get started. Okay. So, we're going to start with the reaction. There's technically like 2 videos that we may do, but I'm kind of sitting here going, I don't know if I want to do the other one, because it's going to be more of an analysis than an actual like reaction, which admittedly people might prefer I analyze and comment on something instead of react to it, but we'll have to see how things go. Hello. So the first thing that I want to react to is Stupid and Evil Business Model, Buy Now, Pay Later from the Fat Files. And something I do feel it is necessary for me to say up front is I have used this once. During that time when I had my identity stolen, and I was waiting for cards to come in, I used it because it was the only option I had because I couldn't just go pay cash. I know that it's like, well, that's not a big deal, but given how much negative people who understand these see them, I feel it's like, all right, we're doing disclosure, even if it's a minor disclosure. So, yeah. He's talking about the buy now, pay later stuff. This is going to be a whole mess. But once again, I got to justify having the financial part of being a financial VTuber. I do like the tuxedo wife beater that he has. Oh, before we get started, caffeination for the night.
I've done it. I've accidentally stumbled upon the dumbest business model on the planet. Today we're talking about buy now, pay later. Historically speaking, it has been a method of payment since pretty much forever. And it's been exactly what it sounds like. You buy something that you can't afford right now and you pay for it later. Whether you're buying a house or a car or your oven goes out and you don't have enough money to replace your oven, you go to the appliance store and the appliance store is like, no problem, we'll hook you up with a payment plan so you can get your oven. It's never been an issue.
Where's all the money?
That's as good as money, sir. Those are IOUs. See this? That's a car. Might want to hang on.
I never realized. Is that the lady who plays the Director Shepard in NCIS? I never realized that. Huh.
That one.
But in the past couple of years,
Sorry, we kind of ruined the joke by interrupting.
Where's all the money?
That's as good as money, sir. Those are IOUs. See this? That's a car. Might want to hang on to that one.
But in the past couple of years, apparently flying under my radar, a bunch of tech bros have gotten together and said, you know what, we should take this method of payment and turn it into an entire business model. And it is not only the dumbest business model I've ever seen, it's almost unironically evil. Like if you were to take a cabal of evil economists and put them in a think tank and tell them they need to come up with the dumbest way possible to crash the economy, this is what they would come up with. And we're going to get into it right after word from our sponsor.
It is It is actually based on, now I don't think any of them will ever admit this, but it is actually based on a particularly evil business model. The originator of the idea of this version of buy now, pay later is actually cyberpunk as a genre. I know for a fact that at least one company is using cyberpunk stuff from a book that's in the cyberpunk genre. I don't think it's the actual cyberpunk franchise, but from the cyberpunk genre that, well, it might be from the cyberpunk franchise. I actually don't remember what book it was, but basically they're using something from a book in a cyberpunk setting as their model to make the company. So we're living in the cyberpunk dystopia. We just don't have any of the good stuff, just only the bad stuff.
Delete me.
No gun this time?
Oh. Oh.
What is that?
It's my new concealed carry. It's so cute and small.
I mean, it's pretty average, I would say.
Well, I can't get my two hands on it.
Oh, is that the standard now? All right, here's the deal. Super simple, straightforward business model. You give them money, they...
For the record, they do that so they can turn those into business tax write-offs. I'm actually going to talk to someone to see if I can do that with the VTuber stuff. Unfortunately, since I'm not in the positive, I don't know if I can, but I'm going to try.
They turn around and make sure that data brokers on the internet aren't selling your personal information. What does that even mean? Okay, here's the entire internet and every free service on the planet inside of a nutshell, okay? There's this saying, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. What that means is pretty much anything on the internet that you use, that's a service, whether that be Google, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all of it, okay? It's all an app, so one of two things is happening. They're either gonna feed you ads, and that's how that company makes money since their service is free, or they're gonna collect your personal information, then turn around and sell it to data brokers on the internet, and then they're going to turn around and sell it to whoever buys it, and next thing you know, you're getting 17,000 robocalls every single day. And that's where Delete Me comes in. They will look through all the major data brokers and find the ones that are selling your personal information and submit opt-out requests on your behalf, and then they are legally obligated to comply. And then they'll continue to monitor these data brokers, and if they get your information again, Delete Me will submit an opt-out request again. Basically, you're paying Delete Me to get rid of all the downsides of all of the free stuff on the internet, which I think is absolutely worth it. If you want to check them out, I'll have a link in the discount code down below. Let's get back to the video. All right, moment of transparency. I had no intention of making this video. I didn't even really know that these companies existed or how they functioned until recently. I went to order something off of DoorDash, a pizza for me and the family, and I was presented with payment options. Those were Apple Pay, a credit card, or Klarna. And for whatever reason, on this particular day, I said, what the fuck is Klarna? So I clicked on it. I was then presented the
Klarna
option
is
of
not the
making
one
an
I
account
used.
with Klarna, and then I would be allowed to make 4 easy installments to pay off my pizza.
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
To which I immediately said to myself in my head, that's stupid. I'm not about to finance a pizza and a private chauffeur to deliver it to me. I hit back and paid with a credit card, but then
He just financed his pizza because that's what a credit card is.
I was like, well, wait a minute. I technically did just finance
Yep,
a
there it
pizza
is.
and a private chauffeur to bring it to me because I paid it with a credit card, right? I'm buying it now and I'm gonna pay for it later when I pay my credit card statement off at the end of the month. So what the fuck is the difference between Klarna and a credit card? So I looked into it, and guess what the difference is between Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm, all these buy now, pay later tech companies, and a credit card? Basically nothing. Credit cards are regulated, these companies are barely regulated, and they're nowhere near as regulated as a credit card.
Same, but different. But still same.
Now, obviously, these tech companies insist that they are different from credit cards. That's why they're not getting regulated as credit cards. So let's just go ahead and go over both and see if we can see any difference whatsoever. Credit card companies primarily make money in 2 different ways. One, if you don't pay off your balance at the end of the month, they charge you like 26% interest, and they make money off of the interest. Okay, pretty straightforward. Everybody understands that. Way number 2 credit cards make money that less people understand is they act as a payment processor. So what that means is every time you swipe your credit card card at a store, they are going to charge the retailer between 1 and 3% of the total purchase amount every single time you use your card. So if you go to Walmart and buy $100 worth of groceries, Walmart is going to end up paying $3 for that 3% of a processing fee. And then if you don't pay off your bill, they're going to make interest on top of that. Those are the two ways that credit card companies make money. Now, Klarna and all the other buy now, pay later
I forget the exact number, but American Express charges more, which is why you get a lot of places that don't take it.
companies are totally different because they make all of their money off of processing fees, but instead of charging 1 to 3%, they charge 3 to 6%, aka double what a credit card charges. And then they give you a 0 interest loan for 30 days. And if you don't pay it off, then they start charging you interest. It's the same fucking thing as a credit card.
They're the same picture.
They even have a Visa card that you can put in your wallet and take with you to do this as much as you want. So why the fuck isn't it regulated like a credit card? Well, you see, a credit card is a revolving line of credit. That means you've got a $5,000 limit. You can spend $5,000, you pay it off, you can spend $5,000 all over again. When you use Klarna, Klarna isn't giving you access to a line of credit. They're giving you an individual loan. So if you get on DoorDash and use Klarna to pay for a fucking burrito, Klarna is giving you an individual loan for said burrito.
Good Lord, pay it off today.
Pay it off.
And you can avoid interest on that loan by paying that loan off in
That's a man that still thinks a starter home costs $50,000, by the way. Good luck.
full in 30 days, exactly like a credit card. Or unlike a credit card, you could sign up for their payment plan where you make 4 payments over the course of 6 weeks and you'll still avoid interest. But if you go with that payment plan, each loan is going to come out of your account on its own schedule. So if you buy 30 things off of Klarna, you've got 30 loans out there auto withdrawing from your account on whatever random dates those payment dates are. So basically Klarna is running 30 transactions a month to get all their money out on 30 different days, making it very, very hard for the average person to keep track of how much money they owe and how much debt they're actually in.
It sounds like a simple shakedown, simple as that.
Okay, just so we're all on the same page, their entire argument is, yeah, we're basically a credit card, but we're a really, really shitty, inconvenient credit card, therefore we shouldn't have to play by any rules. But don't worry, it gets worse. You see, when you apply for a credit card, they actually run your credit, and if you buy a bunch of stuff on a credit card and then you pay it off, it increases your credit score. That's a lot of the reasons that people go and get credit cards at a young age, to build credit so they can hopefully buy a house in the future.
Your credit score is based on how much credit you can take out, how much credit you do have taken out, how much you have paid back on time, and how much you have missed. That is the basics of it. And then they separate it into smaller categories, but that's basically the explanation. And believe it or not, some versions of this are like, oh, they have a lot of credit taken out, therefore it goes higher. It gets really stupid really fast.
Buy now, pay later companies, on the other hand, they don't run your credit. So you can buy a bunch of shit with these companies, but it's never going to improve your credit score. But inversely, if you go ahead and don't pay your bill, they'll report it to collections, and then that will tank your credit score. So they can only hurt your credit, they can't help it. Buh! If you don't like the service, then just don't use it. Buh! Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Here's how that affects all of us. Remember earlier when I said that they doubled the processing fees of a normal credit card? Great, wonderful. If retail companies are going to have to pay an extra 3%, they're going to pass that along to the customer, and they can't discriminate and only pass it along to Klarna users because you can't make individual people pay the processing fees. So they're just going to raise their prices across the board. So even if you're Dave Ramsey paying for everything in fucking cash, you're going to be paying more money because somebody wants to finance a fucking burrito. Which raises a question, why would any retailer want to use Klarna or Afterpay or Affirm or any of these other buy now, pay later companies if they're charging more money for the processing fee? Great question. This is where it gets evil. You've probably seen these in a checkout where it's like you could pay the $100 for your purchase right now, or you can make 4 payments of $25.
It's so that people will continue buying stuff even when they're not in a position to buy stuff, because the number they have to pay today is lower. It's a whole thing.
discounts and still get what you wanted right now. Okay, now to some of us that seems stupid because $100 is $100. Whether you take it from me right now or next Tuesday, I'm still paying $100. What's the big deal? But there's a ton of scientific research that has gone into this, and when you spend a bunch of money, it activates the same part of your brain that is your pain response. It is borderline physically painful to spend a lot of money. So there's a huge chunk of the population that as long as they see that lower amount in what they have to pay right now, they're 20% more likely to make the purchase, and they're 30% more likely to spend even more money.
Yes, science.
So essentially, all these buy now, pay later companies are approaching retailers and saying, hey, we're gonna charge you 6%, but you're gonna sell 20% more often. And when you do sell, those purchases are gonna be 30% larger. Basically, retailers take the deal because it makes them more money. And the reason it makes them more money is because Klarna and all the other buy now, pay later companies have figured out how to make credit cards 2.0, except this time it's more dangerous, it's less regulated, and people that are financially illiterate are more likely to fuck up their entire financial future over a fucking burrito. The inception of this company had to have been like an episode of Mad Men with a bunch of John Hamm looking motherfuckers drinking scotch and smoking cigars inside of a high-rise building, and they're like, haha, we're gonna figure out how to exploit poor and financially illiterate people even harder than they already are, and it's gonna be a great business model. Yeah, except it's not, because that's the dumbest fucking idea I've ever heard in my entire life. Okay, let me rephrase this entire thing so we're all on the same page. Credit cards have a screening process. You apply for a credit card, meaning they've done some research into you and they've determined you're probably pretty likely to pay this back. Klarna and buy now, pay later doesn't do that same screening process.
Oh, that's a
at
great
all.
movie.
So they're giving lines of credit, essentially, individual loans on burritos and fucking pizzas to people that
That movie was The Big Short. It's a great movie.
probably can't afford to pay it back. You want to know how I know they can't afford to pay it back? Because they're taking out a payment plan on a fucking burrito. And you're never going to believe this. It's not working out for them.
The Swedish payment startup said its net loss for the first 3 months of 2025 totaled $99 million, significantly worse than the $47 million loss it reported a year ago. Klarna said this was due to several one-off costs related to depreciation, share-based payments, and restructuring. It is not. Revenues at the firm increased 30% year over year to $107 million. Klarna now said it has 100 million active users and 724,000 merchant partners globally. That is not what the... Why did that chat just go through then? That was from the beginning. Anyways, the main reason why they're not making money is the same reason that we always run into these exact same problems. People aren't paying their stuff. They take out the loan and then they just refuse to pay for it. That is why they are losing money. They are giving loans to people who have no intention of ever actually paying the stuff off. This has happened multiple times and companies never learn. I mean, you can see, I watch I don't go looking for this, but I go watch compilations of this kind of stuff. Credit cards, by comparison, tend to have about a 10% default rate, as opposed to Klarna's nearly 40%. Thank you for the numbers. I didn't know the exact numbers. Yeah, that sounds about right. Anyways, I don't go watch individual things because I don't scroll on TikTok, but I will watch compilations, and I just see these like hour-long compilations. I don't watch the whole thing. I just watch like 3 minutes in order to get the general idea of people on TikTok talking about how they're taking out loans on stuff. It's not just this, but this is definitely part of it, with no intention of ever paying it back, and detailing to people like they found some life hack how they're going to take a loan and disappear before they have to pay it back.
Q1 of 2025, they posted a $99 million loss, and they have no idea why, because guess what? The people that were financing DoorDash and a bunch of other dumb shit aren't paying off their bills in time. Shocking.
Unbelievable.
I would pay so much money to see the CEO of Klarna have a sit down with Warren Buffett and try to convince Warren Buffett to have Berkshire Hathaway invest in Klarna, as he explains to him in detail that their business model is to sell payment plans and loans for Chipotle burritos. It would be fantastic. These companies literally broke level 1 of capitalism. Capitalism can be described as you identify a fucking problem, then you solve the problem and sell the solution. Klarna,
as opposed to what we have here in the United States, which is corporate cronyism, where you invent a problem and then sell the solution. People detailing criminal actions in the public sphere. Yeah, that's about right. The amount of stuff, holy smokes. The amount of stuff that I watch people admit to on screen, on recording, it's like, okay, well, when you get arrested, because you're going to get arrested, you could show that to the judge and we'll all watch what happens.
on the other hand, came along and was like, okay, I think I've identified the problem. Poor people don't have any money. What if we made it easier for poor people to have even less money?
Perfect. Everything.
That's not fixing the problem, it's making it worse. Imagine if a plastic surgeon in Miami figured out a way to help women with flat asses have even flatter asses. He would go out of business. Klarna, on the other hand, is trying to IPO for $15 billion, okay? IPO means initial public offering. Basically, they're gonna open this up to the stock market and let people invest in the company. And the shitty part, because it's a tech sector and everybody thinks that the next tech company is gonna be the next Apple or the next Tesla, they're probably gonna get a metric shit ton of money and a ton of investors are gonna come.
Bye-bye.
Also a good movie.
How'd you fucking do that?
Okay, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, they're about to get a bunch of people to invest
Wolf of Wall Street, for anyone who doesn't know.
in what amounts to subprime burrito loans, and it has the potential to crash the entire economy, right? This is what happened in 2008 with the housing market. What happened in 2008? A bunch of banks were giving out subprime mortgages. Subprime meaning they're giving a mortgage to somebody they know probably can't afford it. And guess what happens when people can't afford shit? They don't afford it, and then they end up not making the payments. They foreclose on the house. That happens too much, and it ruins the entire fucking housing market and the entire economy as a whole.
You're completely sure of the math.
Look at him. You notice anything different about him? Look at his face.
Oh no, this scene.
His name's Yang.
Yeah, I'm sure of the math.
Actually, my name's Jiang.
But at least when the house
Okay, so I'm going to expand on that a little bit, but for the most part, the short version is that is also from the movie The Big Short. There are two movies that I highly recommend you watch to understand the 2007-2008 housing crisis. It will explain loans in general to you in a way that will probably horrify you, but that you should know. They're also both very entertaining. The Big Short and Margin Call. The Big Short is basically the big view from the people who saw it coming. And it starts a couple years before the crash and ends as the crash is wrapping up, basically. And it really shows you in detail what's going on and what's happening. Margin Call is a movie that takes place completely contained the night of the crash, from the perspective of the company that started it all. Now, they changed up the names, didn't really mention people because they didn't want Wall Street to blacklist the film company, but that is exactly what happened that night. And watching The Big Short first helps you understand what's happening in Margin Call, because they really only vaguely allude to what they're actually doing. They kind of expect you to already know what's going on. Margin Call is incredible. It is. But like I said, it does really require you to know what's going on going in. Big Short is also really, really good. I think Margin Call is slightly better, but The Big Short has the big advantage of explaining everything and putting stuff in layman's terms. Also, it's got a fantastic... They both have fantastic casts. So, yeah. He explained the basics of it, though. Banks were giving loans to people that shouldn't have loans. And the reason that they were is because the banks that were giving the loans didn't need to hold on to the loans. They were selling them to the big investment accounts that your retirement and your investment is in. When you go into your retirement or an investment package or whatever, and you see something like, I don't know if this is the real one, I'm just kind of making this up, enterprise real estate package. And it's just like, it gives back this percentage of interest. Inside of that is thousands and thousands of mortgages and rentals and all that stuff. Well, excuse me. What happened was they were running out of mortgages to put in these. So they were giving more and more mortgages to people with worse and worse credit and worse chance of paying them back so that they could continue to stuff them full of mortgages to make them look good and sell them to people. And then, when everyone stopped paying because the mortgages were also on terrible terms and given to people that couldn't afford the mortgages, all these investments upon which entire businesses and retirement packages and life savings and stuff were built upon collapsed. And that just took all of Wall Street with it. And that's the short version. They didn't start it. It's just that they were first saying, okay, yeah, they didn't technically cause all the bad decisions to be made. They just started the dominoes that were the final leg of the journey. Again, if you watch those two movies in that order, Big Short and Margin Call, you'll get a much better picture than I can give without spending the entire stream explaining it. Though Rippy, I would argue that the thing. Well, no, I guess the regulators also ignored the problem, so reporting them wouldn't have done any good, anyways. So yeah, that is my again little rant to expand a little bit on what he said and try to get you to go watch two movies that are both fantastic movies that will also explain and horrify. Because when you listen to them talk, they're talking about mortgages. This would be known with mortgages, home rentals, medical debt, student debt. I made a whole video about that a couple years ago. Car rentals. Basically, if there's debt, credit cards, so on and so forth, these buy now, pay later things, it is being traded and sold and bet upon because they've got a whole gambling thing built on it in the exact same way, which is why I keep saying that kept saying it's kind of like left the public purview for a while. But that's why I kept saying they were never going to forgive student debt, because there's a giant sector of the financial industry built on student debt. Anyways, we're getting a little off subject, but I am trying to explain and also, again, justify the financial part of Financial VTuber. Continuing.
Housing market crashed and the bank foreclosed on a bunch of houses. They still had the houses that they could turn around and sell to somebody else. Granted, they weren't going to get all their money out of it because the price of houses fell to the floor, but at least they had something left over.
Actually, my name's Jung.
But at least when the housing market crashed and the bank foreclosed on a bunch of houses, they still had the houses that they could turn around and sell to somebody else. Granted, they weren't going to get all their money out of it because the price of houses fell to the floor, but at least they had something left over. How the fuck are you going to foreclose on a DoorDash order that somebody ate 9 months ago, okay? You going to go repo a fucking turd? I can't believe I live in a timeline where I'm legitimately concerned that one day I'm going to wake up and see the news headlines reading, subprime DoorDash order bubble bursts, crashing economy. Could the government step in right now and regulate them as credit cards like they should be regulated and fix the entire problem? Absolutely, they sure as fuck could. Unfortunately, my entire government and every politician is 7,000 years old and too technologically illiterate to understand what the problem even is.
Yeah.
TikTok access the home Wi-Fi network.
What?
How do you sustain a business model in which users don't pay for your service?
Senator, we run ads.
And by the time they do realize it's a problem, it's probably going to...
I've watched so many of those, and I'm going to be honest, I wanted to shoot myself watching those politicians have no idea what's happening. It is really depressing watching these people who have no idea what's happening in the world make decisions.
Senator, we run ads.
And by the time they do realize it's a problem, it's probably going to be too big to fail, so they're just going to print a bunch of money, give it to fucking Klarna to pay off their subprime burrito loans, and then all the taxpayers get to pay for it. Fucking...
Which is what happened in the 2007-2008 financial crash. They blamed teachers and poor people and used taxpayer money to pay off the banks, which is the single most unpopular decision the United States government has ever made. And it was so unpopular that they actually rewrote the laws to say that the government, in order to make sure that the government wouldn't have to do it again. And the reason, and the way that they did that was by giving banks the power to just take money out of your bank account in order to pay for their bad decisions instead. So you could be mad at the bank instead of the government. And it's not even FDIC insured, so the government doesn't have to pay for it whenever it happens. It's called a bail-in instead of a bailout. Well, that's what it was called. Then people found out it existed and they kept changing the name. I don't know what the current name they're calling it is, but collectively the term is a bail-in.
Terrific. I can't wait. They're subprime burrito loans, and then all the taxpayers get to pay for it. Fucking terrific. I can't wait. Okay, that's it. There's no silver linings. This is the dumbest business model I've ever seen in my entire life. If you want to take away from the video, it's this. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to start a business, find a problem, identify it, then solve the problem to make people's lives better. If at any point your idea to make money is to identify a problem and then make it worse to take advantage of poor and financially illiterate people, you're a piece of shit. And for the love of God, if you have to take out a payment plan to have a private chauffeur hand deliver you a burrito, please don't do it. If you need to take out a payment plan for the burrito, you can't afford the burrito. There's literally bankers on the internet posting stories about how young couples lost the opportunity at their first house because they made a purchase with one of these buy now, pay laters a year ago, forgot about it, they reported the debt to collections, and it tanked their credit, and they weren't able to buy their first house over some fast food. Please don't ruin your financial future to have a burrito hand delivered to you. Buh! DoorDash is a necessity for some people. You're just a rich YouTuber that doesn't understand the struggles of the average person. Buh! Okay, pause. I know what you're thinking. Fat Electrician is taking this keyboard warrior thing too far. He's making straw men. Surely nobody is...
I have seen this argument. Before he says it, I know he's going to say it, but I'm going to confirm. I have seen people make this argument. I understand that the Dashers are doing it because they need the money. Well, some of them are, given some of the videos currently circulating. You do not need DoorDash. It is a luxury.
Actually arguing that DoorDash is a necessity. You're incorrect. I like to probe topics before I make these videos to see what the keyboard warriors will say, and this is a real opinion that popped up on the thread. And my response to this is as follows. A, I was delivering DoorDash, not ordering DoorDash. I was a delivery driver for DoorDash like 2.5 years ago so I could afford to pay my bills. So you can fuck right off with that shit. B, DoorDash is a luxury purchase, okay? I don't give a fuck what the circumstance is. Ordering restaurant quality food and then summoning a stranger to hand deliver it to you is a luxury purchase. To call that a necessity regardless of circumstance is like saying that a Rolex is a necessity because people need to be able to tell what time it is. No, the fuck it isn't. Go buy a G-Shock for $9 and it's fine. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got. The new tech bro buy now, pay later companies are the worst, shittiest, dumbest business model that I've ever seen in my entire life. Thanks for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out.
Right.
I'm gonna get a cease and desist. I can feel it already.
He absolutely is. And for anyone saying that the bail-in thing is made up and doesn't happen and it's just fear-mongering, they tested it. It's been tried a couple times. The most famous one was the Cyprus banking crisis, which, understand, the EU, the US, Canada, and a couple other places all have the exact same thing. No one needs DoorDash, a $10 cappuccino they're delivering. Yeah, anyways. They tested this in Cyprus, in the EU, and they blamed the Russians, but the reality was that the banks made a bunch of horrible decisions. They were bleeding money, so they shut down the banking system, took a ton of money out of people's accounts in order to pay for the bank's bad decisions, and were just not giving people money. And when they finally did, people opened up their bank accounts to see that they were practically empty. People then sued the banks in the EU court of law in order to try to say that what they did was illegal. The EU court of law ruled that what they did was legal and perfectly fine, and any bank in the EU can do this. The US has the system as well. Canada has the system. And I forget who else, but it's a bunch of other places, not just the EU. And like I said, they keep renaming it, but it's the same system. So don't say this can't happen. They tested it to make sure it worked first. Okay, so that was the Fat Electrician, Stupid Evil Business Model, Buy Now, Pay Later. There are technically arguments for where this has potential, like with mine, where it's like, I was fine, but I just didn't have the credit cards because I was waiting for the new ones, and I needed to buy something now. But other than that, no, do not finance your burritos. Okay. So with that said, this is the video that I was thinking about doing a commentary on. I don't know if I'm going to. Either way, we're not going to do it yet. Excuse me. And the reason I want to do a commentary on these guys is because I thought this was going to be like a good testing competition video. But as I commented on the thing, how is it in a video with two $300 junk AR-15s covered in Temu gear that the operators are the cheapest junk on the field? So I'm debating if I want to go through the process of just breaking down what's going on. But what I'm going to say is we're going to save that for the middle of the stream, if we do that at all. And we're just going to move on to Hollow Knight for now. So I'm going to run some ads on Twitch while we take a moment to... I don't want to be like farming. Okay, you can find my comment. Anyways, I'm going to run some ads on Twitch so that they don't interrupt us while I take the time to switch over to Hollow Knight and the and the Hollow Knight model. So I will be back in a couple minutes. Okay, the Twitch ad's got a couple minutes left, but I'll wait to see what's going on. I'm gonna check in. Valora is not transmitting chat like it should. I'm not sure how to fix it because I'm still figuring that site out. Alright, we should have stream back. Hello? Thank you. OBS is so slow with that. Oh, and also, I have started the process. Alright, I need to open up the map that I was sent. I have started up the process of, uploading to Odyssey first. Then, Rumble. Then YouTube. So if you want to watch videos, you'll find them on Odyssey first. Afterwards... Okay, I thought I could try to get up there, but I guess not. So is there anything over here or not? I'm gonna assume not. That's Pops. Oh, good. Anyways, Odyssey, then Rumble, then YouTube. Because YouTube's attacking VTubers, like everyone else. So, why not? Odyssey is at least trying to like court YouTubers or VTubers, but they don't really. Odyssey still feels like they don't really know what they're doing. Okay. Where the heck am I supposed to go? Oh my gosh. Wow. Ah! Oh wait, is that the shortcut? Oh, I see the I didn't even see the other platform. Okay. No! Well, if I figured out a shortcut, I'll take the shortcut. No! I forgot the dash. How did I? All of that just to immediately get hit. No! Ah! I didn't even hit it twice. I guess I just held it down too long. I don't know why sometimes it short jumps and then sometimes it long jumps. Thank you. Thank you! Oh my god, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah, no, absolutely not. Well, I was looking to see where the path that I might have been coming from would have been. Okay, give me a sec. Well. Ah. For anyone curious, I'm trying to pogo off of this. I don't... Okay. Think I know what I'm doing wrong. Ha! Ah! So close. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, I can try to go up the other side, but I'm committed, I think. Ah! Okay. Couldn't get high enough fast enough. Huh. No! Well, I am a bug. Wings would be nice. How the heck did I do that? one moment. Ha! Oh my gosh, yes! No! Okay. Where am I? The nightmare, that's where I am. No! Ah! I even tried to stop early. Nope, that's too low. That's too low! I mean, high, not low. Ah, whatever. It was off. I'm probably too high again. Now I'm too low. There we go. I don't know why I didn't dash. So we can all agree that on the Death Star run, Obi-Wan Kenobi was cheating, right? Like, we've just seen of his character that he cheats and pretends like he doesn't. Like, he helped Luke pick. He didn't just say, trust in the Force. He was actively helping. Oh, come on! I even tried to jump. Oh my gosh. Oh, come on!
Oof. Yeah.
Okay, so there's nothing for me to try to grab on over there. I gotta go this way. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do there. The map doesn't do me any good. Ah! Nope. Nope. Ah! They were retracted! Ah. I'm gonna hit the spikes. Yep. Now I want to ramble about D&D things, but I gotta concentrate in infernal timing. Oh, oh, I'm sure there's an easier way through this that's just closed for narrative reasons. I was gonna make a comment, now I can't remember what the comment was. Ah. Well, I remember what the comment was. So, everyone remember Tankhead? The, little tank, but you're really an armored car with game only has 3 levels. It was like great concept, except too short, too limited, and it was an Epic exclusive. Apparently it did so badly that they have rebranded to Tank Rat and are trying again on Steam. Which again, it had a lot of potential, but it just didn't, I think, live up to the price. Plus, again, Epic exclusive. I told you guys it felt more like a tech demo than an actual game. I mean, it had the bones of a game and it was just not enough. I wonder if, since I did buy Tankhead, I'll get Tank Rat. Or if they're gonna say, nope, you gotta buy it again. Okay, fair. It wasn't proper shovelware. It just wasn't enough, I think. Not for its price. Again, a 3-level roguelite is a bit of an issue. I don't know because I just saw it. We're gonna have to see what happens. I really should ask him, hey, am I gonna get the full game? Now that you decide to make the full game? If they don't give Tank Rat to those of us that bought Tankhead, I'm gonna have a couple more words for him because that's feeling significantly scummier. I mean, what I wish they would have done is just add more to the game. You know, it's like we're always talking about these, always online, games as a services, yada yada. We're doing this so we can add more to the game after we release. I wish they had just done that instead of going through the whole rebrand, re-release thing. You know, going from an Epic exclusive to a rebrand, re-release on its own feels much more sketchy because other games have done that, and a lot of them have kind of ended up being about as sketchy as it sounds. I know I'm a small nobody, so they're probably not going to care. But if anyone would like to correct me, I'm welcome to hearing the better logic. I hit downward attack. Ah! Oh my gosh. Ah! Okay. Once you get to here, you'll launch right, climb launch, through a very long spike tunnel left. You'll be in the home stretch. Ah! It's gonna go into spike. No, it's not gonna go into spikes. No!
No blazing kin. Only one light shall shine against the dark. The worm becomes beacon, minds expanded to yield, to devote. Eternity in promise, and charge in progeny cursed. No cost too
collected the King's Soul.
Soul of worm, soul of root, heart of void.
Holy charm, symbolizing a union between higher beings. The bearer will slowly absorb the limitless soul contained within. Opens the way to a birthplace.
I'm never going back there. Was that always glowing?
What station is this? Hidden all the way at the bottom of the world. Until I heard the bell calling, I didn't even know the stagways traveled so deep. You've discovered something quite astounding, little one. No matter how old I grow, the world still keeps surprises like this stowed away.
Fair.
Strengthens the bearer. Increase.
Oh, I know what this one already does. Or I already know what this one does. It constantly regenerates soul.
Ascending. Feeling tired? Plus,
How are your travels, Nailmaster? As time goes by, I'm sure you'll only grow stronger. If you see your fellow Nailmasters again, tell them I carry them in my thoughts always. And that they should come and buy something from their old teacher as a mark of respect. How are your travels? If you see your fellow...
We're going back to the depths, right?
Oh!
Which means I just go straight back to the King Station. Nope, I mean the hidden station. Oh wait, across the dark sea? Hold on.
Whispers its location.
Oh yeah,
to
yeah,
the
I'm
bearer
still going down there.
whenever a
Okay,
map-
yep. For a second I thought it was in a different direction.
higher beings, these words are for you alone. Our pure vessel has ascended. Beyond lies only the refuse and regret of its creation. We shall enter that place no longer.
Yeah, well, I thought I had to do everything. Okay. I probably could have done that from the beginning. I went in the wrong direction, didn't I? Whoa, wait a minute. What's this? Oh, this is where I need to be?
Power without unity.
It's in the main pit.
No cost too great. No mind to think. No will to break. No voice to cry suffering. Born of God and void. You shall seal the blinding light that plagues their dreams. You are the vessel. You are the Hollow Knight.
An emptiness that was hidden within, now unconstrained, unifies the void under the bearer's will. This charm is a part of its bearer, and cannot be unequipped.
Yeah, it's not just our character. These are siblings. The Hollow Knight's the one that made it out of the pit first. And we've seen a couple others like us, which are also siblings that made it out of the pit, but failed to complete their missions. Okay. After all this, we are not the Hollow Knight, which we found out with the one statue, but just in case you forgot. The Hollow Knight was the one that we saw walk away right before we fell. So, Twitch is gonna force an ad on us. We're at the midway point anyways. I'm gonna take a short break. Let the ad play. And I guess we're gonna see how long it takes me to beat the Radiance. 'Cause I think we're at final boss time. Unless I'm forgetting something. Rippy? What's the side? Alright, well, you tell me what the side quest is. I'm gonna take the break since the ad's gonna play any minute now. You guys decide how long you think it's gonna take for me to do this. I'll be back in a couple minutes. you I'm gonna be honest. I'm not super excited about taking the rest of the night hunting down grubs and pale ore. I understand it's a questionable increase in difficulty in terms of needing more combat, needing to hit more in order to bring a target down. I'm not sure I can do it. Some non-caffeination. Buzz. Yeah, I think we're gonna try to beat the game tonight. Then, next time, after I beat this game, I'm not going this way. And I need to set up for the upcoming boss fight. We have one pale ore, I believe. We have one pale ore.
Rare, pale metal that emanates an icy chill, prized by those who craft weapons.
All right. I do think it'd be... There is a temptation to try to get the last charm so that we can get her blessing, just to say we finished that part, since that, I think, is close.
Reveal.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm not doing the grub class. The grub quest. How's that for a loadout? We hit faster and farther. We've got Shape of Un, so we can run away while we're trying to heal. We've got Quick Focus, so we can heal faster. And we've got Grub Song, so I just have an infinite supply of soul because I'm going to keep getting hit. Well, I don't want to waste my soul. Because I'm going in with a full load. Well, okay, I guess we could probably get some more quick. Okay. That moves pretty fast. I forgot about you. Alright. I know I didn't do Colosseum.
I'm impressed, little ghost. You've burdened yourself with the fate of this world, yet you still stand strong. To break the dreamer's seals would alone be considered an impossible task, but to accept that void inside yourself, that casts you as something rather exceptional. I'm impressed. To break the dreamer... The path is opened. One way or another, an end awaits inside. I won't be joining you in this. That place is built to sustain your likes. Its bindings would drain me, were I to join. Don't be surprised. I'll not risk my own life in your attempt. Though if the moment presents, I'll aid as I'm able. Ghost of Hollownest, you possess the strength to enact an end of your choosing. Would you supplant our birth-cursed sibling? Or would you transcend it? Ghost of Hollownest, you...
Vessel, though bound, you shall know the state of the world. Hollownest will be whole again.
Fragment of a lingering will.
Far down below us, beneath the kingdom, the air grows stiller and a sense of emptiness pervades. Can life flourish down there? If so, I will hunt it.
%. I think I'm doing pretty good. That is the Hollow Knight. We are the ghosts. The knight, the true empty vessel. Come on! Ah! I think that was pretty good for a first attempt. Also, my gosh, the ability to run away while healing is so useful! Where are you? I am hitting dodge. Do you just ignore the dodge immunity now? Seriously? I was trying to strike when she was holding him. Seriously? I like the way up to, thanks. Meet soon again, the road ahead. It was what, 17 years between games? No.
Reflecting the desires of the Soul Sanctum for mastery over soul. It improves.
I wonder. Ah! Because also, you know what I mean? Hollow Knight is a fun fight, but he isn't the most challenging boss fight. Fair, but this is what I was looking for. This nightmare. Let me get a drink. And Ludens to minimize coughing in the middle of this. I will note that by going the spell route, that was a lot faster. Whew! Well, that didn't last long. I think that probably the
Born
capacity to hit is probably more important than the spells because of the need to keep getting souls. Well, hold on. I wonder. I wonder what happens when I'm just sort of leaving minefields everywhere. Like this. I can feel myself slipping. We might have to accept ending B. I'm gonna have to look into exactly what that is going on because that is unexpected. I think I need the reach. Yep. Can't read right now. Busy trying not to die. Doing a bad job of it. Nope, I'm dead. That's it. I do like the detail on the shape of Un, the fact that when you have spores, your Un mode has mushrooms growing out of it. I didn't even know. I didn't even notice. Cool.
Whispers its
I wonder. I do have little mushrooms growing out of me. Ow. Okay, I might be relying on the grub song more than I realized. Never mind! Okay.
Freely given by the Mantis tribe to those they respect, greatly increases the range of the bearer's nail, allowing them to strike foes from further away.
Let's see what happens if we go with greatly range. I wonder.
Increases the range of the bearer's nail, allowing them to
This might work better if I, weren't already losing on the, on the reflex time. That is never gonna work for me.
Forgotten Shaman Artifact. Used to draw soul from still living creatures. Used by shamans to draw. Said to contain the knowledge of past generations of shaman. Increases the power of spells, dealing more damage to foes. Forgotten Shaman Artifact. Used to draw soul from still living creatures. Greatly increases the amount of soul gained when striking an enemy with the nail.
I'm gonna take a couple minutes to just try to reset my Twitch responses. I'm gonna let actual Twitch run an ad because it's complaining at me again. And then we're gonna see what happens when we do a spell build. So I will be back in a sec. Okay. 3 minutes of doing my best to deep breathe. Without coughing out a lung. Let's see if I can finish this in the hour that's left. He's gonna get me. There we go. I don't think this is gonna work. I think I kind of need the quick. The heal and shape of Un to stay alive.
Composed of...
I don't know that the mushrooms help, but they make me feel better. I'm gonna go back to this plus the, you know what? Actually. Oh, I know. I am well aware. I think that's probably the best combination I'm gonna have. Nope, I'm completely out of it now. There we go. Yeah, I am tired.
Get the!
I just don't know that I can keep this up. As stated, I am well aware. I don't need the reminder. Well.
Bears the likeness of an eccentric bug known only as the Dash Master. The bearer will be able to dash more often, as well as dash downwards, perfect for those who want to move around as quickly as possible.
I am wondering about doing a pure speed build. Dropping the unbreakable strength and trading it for even more for the movement ones. But I think that the double damage from unbreakable strength is actually doing me some good right now. So I'm reluctant to remove it. We could also do the meme build and just like pour on all health and face tank. I'm gonna do that once and see what happens. Okay, I'm one
Contains
short.
a living core that seeps precious. Increase.
Actually, wait.
Blessed by Joan. Contains a living core that seeps precious lifeblood.
There's no way this is gonna work. Just want to see how far it will get me. Not very far, it would seem. Nope. Yeah, that was never gonna work.
Born from imperfect.
I do think I'm just too tired to be able to keep up with this, though. say this. This build certainly makes it easy to get through him. I think, given I have a big and early day tomorrow, and I am just too tired to keep this up, I think we're going to call it here. See if we can't do Radiance in order to, in the first half of the next stream this Friday, and then continue on with like Zelda or something. Probably Zelda. Given we're trying to check stuff off that's pretty close, I think I'm probably gonna end up being like, I'm going to being like we're just gonna run through Minish Cap to try to finish it. After this, get some check marks off, and then we'll go back to the 2 and 2 schedule. I think that's gonna be the plan. So I'll thank you all for bearing with me and watching me fail. Hope you all have a great week. Stay safe. And I'll see you in the next stream. Have a good one, all.
Thank you.